I don't know if you've seen right now, there's a lot of backlash and people are fighting against these pedophile networks that apparently go really high up. Is this something that the cabal that you were mentioning, this cult, is responsible for, or they're somehow implicated? Because I know in Hollywood it seems pretty vast.
Yeah, I've been researching this for 30 years, and as I've gone along, some very, very strange things have come into my research. But as you move on, you realize their significance and why it goes on. And that's a big story in terms of pedophilia. But I came across this in the about 95, 96, particularly 96, when I started big time traveling America. And I realized that, and it's all in my books, they could have sued me, these people, decades ago, but they didn't. Where I name names, famous names, for being pedophiles and Satanists.
Are they the same names that are coming out now?
Well, a lot of people, a lot of those that have come out, a lot of the names that came out after, for instance, the Jimmy Savile revelations in this country, the BBC entertainer who was one of the most prolific pedophiles if not in British history.
He had support from the Queen, basically.
When that's right. Oh, the royal family are all into it, mate. Oh my God, yes. And I've named them. And Jimmy Savile, this historic level of pedophile, was brought into the inner circle, the inner bosom of the British royal family in the 1960s by Lord Mountbatten, member of the royal family, very close associate of the Queen, and a known paedophile. Jimmy Savile in the 1960s was one of this new breed of people then called a disc jockey.
Yeah,
he used to play records on the radio and be on Top of the Pops, the BBC, pop music program. And yet he's invited into the inner core of the British royal family. He then becomes very, very close to Prince Charles and Prince Philip, and stayed in the inner bosom of the royal family all the way through, almost to his death, after which the whole thing came out. Oh, of course, the royal family part of it didn't come out. It came out that he was in the bosom of the royal family, but of course the mainstream media never said, well, hold on a minute, why? Well, I explain why in the books, because Jimmy Savile, this is the part that hasn't come out, but I knew about this way before, because I met a lady in 1997 who was a longtime friend of Princess Diana, and her name was Christine Fitzgerald. I've still got a tape of our conversation in a drawer behind me from that time. And she told me about the appalling, disgusting treatment of Diana by the British royal family and all these connections. She also mentioned what Jimmy Savile was. Unfortunately, she wouldn't go public with it, so I had no chance of doing anything with it at the time, because that Ike's mad anyway, and where's your evidence? Well, she won't speak publicly, but she spoke to me. I've got it on tape. And what she told me turned out to be true. And she was talking about how Savile was a big inner circle member, bosom buddy of the royal family, and how Princess Diana couldn't stand him because he was so bloody sleazy. Do you know they use this disc jockey? This is the fact. They use this disc jockey, this historic paedophile disc jockey, and Satanist, by the way, as a mediator at one point between Prince Charles and Princess Diana when their marriage was breaking down. It's just ridiculous. But this is what goes on, because, like I say, the world that we think we live in is not the one we live in. That's just the smoke screen we're given. It's the movie screen we're given, so that we don't actually see the one we really live in. And again, when I've investigated these rich and famous cult insiders, cult assets, pedophilia and Satanism, pedophilia for sure, and Satanism come up.
Yeah, a lot of it. It seems like rampant. It's, I don't know, it's shocking.
You mentioned earlier, that's why Hollywood is absolutely awash with it, because Hollywood is a cult creation. Why? Because they're after the perceptions of the global population, and Hollywood is the place where people get so much of their perception from.